This lesson is on the causes of poverty. What is poverty? Poverty is the lack of enough income and wealth to meet basic needs. It is an indicator of development because it leads to a low standard of living. Poverty leads to starvation and malnutrition, high infant mortality rate, poor health leading to death, homelessness and inadequate housing, lack of, or limited access to education, and an absence of a safe environment. Poverty is usually measured by income possessed by an individual. A person is poor if his income falls below the minimum level required to meet basic needs. This minimum level is known as the poverty line. The international poverty line has been adjusted to $2.15 per person per day in 2022 using 2017 prices. This means that anyone living on less than $2.15 a day is in extreme poverty. The graph shows the number of people living in poverty between 1990 and 2022. About 712 million lived in extreme poverty in 2022, that is below $2.15 per day. Sub-Saharan Africa had the highest population of 448 million people living in poverty in 2022. Europe and Central Asia had the lowest with 2.25 million people living in poverty in 2022. Types of poverty. There are two types of poverty, namely absolute poverty and relative poverty. We will consider absolute poverty first. Absolute poverty is an extreme type of poverty characterized by the inability to meet basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. People that experience absolute poverty are deprived of the following: food, potable drinking water, shelter, health, education, sanitation facilities, and information. The second type of poverty is relative poverty. This means an individual has access to fewer goods and services than others in the society. It is a comparative measure of poverty, not an absolute measure. Relative poverty means that an individual has a lower standard of living than an average person in the society. In the UK, relative poverty is measured as a percentage of the average income. Therefore, individuals who have income below 60% of the median income are relatively poor in the UK. We want to consider the causes of poverty. Unemployment is one of the major causes of poverty. People with no work have no income to maintain a good standard of living. Ill health also makes it difficult for people to engage in any meaningful economic activity, thereby causing poverty. Old age can cause poverty as old people cannot work and therefore slip into poverty. Low average income, measured by GDP per capita, causes low living standards as the average person's income will be insufficient to access essential goods and services. Low spending on healthcare by the government can make it difficult for people to have access to health services and impact living standards adversely. Poor educational system makes it difficult for people to have skills to get jobs and be productive. This would reduce the level of material comfort of the people. Huge debt by the government makes it difficult to embark on any project that can reduce poverty, such as the provision of schools, hospitals, and welfare benefits. This is because government has to spend most of its revenue on servicing the debt. Over-reliance on the export of primary products by many developing countries causes widespread poverty. Because demand for these products is volatile, it is difficult for them to have a stable source of income. Corruption, political instability, overpopulation, and non-provision of welfare benefits are the other causes of poverty in less economically developed countries.